A very good morning to all of you. I am Sudha. Basically, I am an assistant professor working in SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Katangalathur campus. So, I'll be creating the lectures and posting the lectures on the subject data mining. It's a very useful subject. I hope each and every one of you like the subject data mining and its approaches where we widely use across in many areas. Basically, it's a very traditional subjects and it's a very useful one. So before we get into the subject, let me give a brief introduction why we have to study this subject basically. So in today's digital world, enormous amounts of data are generated every second through social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. etc. Then online shopping platforms like Amazon, Big Basket, etc. Then banking transactions from many banking companies, healthcare systems, etc. So while organizations have become highly efficient at collecting and storing the data, the real challenge lies in extracting the meaningful information or knowledge from this huge amount of data generated. So we use data mining approaches by providing the techniques to discover hidden patterns from this data and also the relationships that exist among these data, trends, and also useful knowledge from large data sets. And also why this course matters. Organizations today are data rich but knowledge poor. Data mining bridges this gap by converting raw data into actionable knowledge. So, professionals with data mining skills are in high demand across industries, but because they enable organizations to make data driven decisions, improve operational efficiencies, and uncover the opportunities that are not immediately visible from data alone. This is the main motivation behind the subject data mining. And coming to the prerequisites, I would suggest people with a little bit of knowledge on database systems, some fundamental mathematical, statistical methodologies would be very useful to understand about these subjects, and also machine learning, because whatever the topics, some of the topics we are going to discuss in data mining, the same thing will be applied and will be coming in machine learning also, so it will be useful over there also. So moving on to the subject, today we are going to discuss about why we need data mining and what is data mining, what are the kinds of data we have, what are the kinds of patterns and applications that are suitable for the data mining, we will see today. So basically, data mining, it's not a new subject, it's a very traditional subject from 1960s till 2026. People, they are using the methodologies or approaches from the data mining. So skipping on this, let me give a brief introduction why we need data mining. So first of all, what is data and what is information? Let me give an example. For example, let me say 29. If I say 29, many people can give many answers. For example, a person can give answer as it's a odd number, and another person could say it's a two-digit number, and another person could say it's someone's birthday date, or someone can say today's date, etc. etc. So when I say just 29, it doesn't have any meaningful answer, but when I say all this, today's date, someone birthday date, two-digit number, etc., all this have some meaningful information or knowledge out of it. This is why we have to mine the data. So basically, we have to mine the data to get the meaningful information or pattern out of it. When I have just the data, it's not going to be useful at all, but when I mine it, surely I'll have some information in my hand where it will be useful in many places. So another example also, I could say that uh, just if I say 32, it will not give you any answer, but if I say today's temperature is 32, it has some meaning. So that's why we have to go for the data mining approaches to mine the knowledge or information from the huge collection of data. As you could see from the slide, we say that many data are generated day by day, from terabytes to petabytes of data that could be from the social media or many platforms or sensors, online transaction, etc., etc. So we have to do the data collection and we have the data availability. Then we have to use the data mining approaches. We have to apply pre-processing methods to remove the outliers or noisy data, etc., etc. Then we can mine the information out of it. Next, what is data mining exactly? So as I said earlier, basically we are going for the data mining to extract the knowledge or pattern or information from the raw data. So from the raw data you will not have any meaningful answer or information, but when I mine the data I will be able to get some information or knowledge out of it. And we can also give many alternative names for this. We can say knowledge discovery of data, KDD, or knowledge extraction, data pattern analysis, etc. So these are the different names for data mining basically. So look at this slide, data mining in business intelligence. Basically this picture depicts about a pyramid. You can see the base one. Basically the base one, it's a larger one where we have many data sources. These data sources, as I indicated, this could be social data, online data, it could be some files, web documents, some experimental results, etc., etc. And just this raw data, if I just apply with the data mining approaches or technologies, it will be a huge burden for my system. So before applying my algorithms or methodologies, we have to pre-process this data to remove incomplete or inconsistent data, which I will be explaining later. So it's another topic. So we have to do it, then we can go for the data exploration. Basically after do the pre-processing, we have to summarize our data. It could be we can use statistical summary or some querying or reporting tools. Then the fourth step, we have to apply the data mining approaches to discover the information. Then finally we have the fifth step, data presentation, where we present our data in a more visualized way, so the people, they will be able to grasp and understand what is my information about from the data. Then finally we go for the decision making. So this is what the basic presentation or representation, how the data sources are collected to decision making of informations. So when I say the data, we can say multi-dimensional view. So what data I'm going to mine exactly? When I say data, it could be of many types. It could be homogeneous data or heterogeneous data. And when I say it could be object oriented, it could be data warehouses, it could be transactional data of some banking transaction, or spatial temporal. Temporal means time series data. Spatial data, it's about some spaces or geographical data. So when I say the data, it's not about only one or two types. We have many types of data. That's why it's quite difficult to mine the information from the data basically. So that's why we have to go for the data mining approaches to mine the information from wide types of data. And second one, it's about knowledge to be mined. Basically we have three broad categories of data mining. The first one is classification, second one is clustering, and third one is association rule mining. So these are the three main approaches we have under data mining, and under that we have many sub approaches or algorithms. So we can apply all this to mine the information from the data. Third one, it's about techniques utilized. So we can use online analytical processing tools, machine learning, statistics, pattern recognition, etc., etc. Then finally, what are the applications we are adapting from the retail or banking, fraud analysis, etc. So this is about the data mining. So when I say the data mining, it's not about only one type of data, and it's not about only one methodology, or it's not about only one technique, and it's not related with one particular application. That's why we say it's a multidimensional view of data. And look at this slide. So knowledge discovery of data. So before we do the decision making of the data, we have many steps or processing steps across the area to mine the information. So first, I'll be having some data. For example, take some online data, some social media data that I will be storing on my databases. That could be some, that could be some flat files also. So the first one, storing my data in the databases. The second one, it's about data warehouse. So what is warehouse basically? Basically, it's a huge storage, right? So we have another subject, data warehousing, where we have a huge area. So when you have free time, you can go through a data warehousing. So data warehousing basically, it's a huge space where I will be storing many databases, huge databases with huge spaces. And after I collect the data in the data warehouse, I can pre-process it and I can apply the data mining methodologies. Then finally, I will be getting my pattern or knowledge representation. This is what basically the knowledge discovery process. So you'll be having your databases. From the databases, you will be going through the data warehouse if you have big amount of data. Then finally, you are going to apply your data mining methodologies to mine the information or useful knowledge out of it. Then you go for the knowledge representation. So before I do all this, first I have to do the data pre-processing, because when I collect the data, I may not be sure that I have exact or correct data. So to make sure that your data is clear and what you need, you have to apply the data pre-processing. So when I apply the data processing, just you can see I have 7 steps here. The first one, it's about data cleaning. It's a very important process. So what I'm going to do in data cleaning, when I go for the data cleaning, first I have to remove the incomplete or inconsistent or noisy data, etc, etc. So what is incomplete data? For example, take some student data. I am asking the people to fill up their personal information, for example their mobile number, name, parent info, Aadhaar number, etc, basic details of them. So some of the people, they may leave one column and move on to the next column. So that is called as incomplete data. And coming to the inconsistent data, when you take a particular attribute, for example age, so if I say age, it should be a digit, it should be a number, right? But if someone is typing some other information in that field, then that is inconsistent. And when you say the noisy data, I'm asking you to fill your, for example, take weight. So basically weight is represented with kgs. But if someone is representing with some other field, for example it is, then that is noisy data, that you can take it as an example. So these are the attributes or maybe the reasons why we have to go for the data cleaning. So before I apply my data mining methodologies, first I have to clean my data to make sure that my data is clean and clear. Next one, it's about data integration. So now I have my data which is clean. Now I have to integrate all this data that I collected from the multiple data sources, so that could be combined. So that is data integration. Third one is about data selection. Now I have to choose the data relevant to the analysis task that are retrieved from the databases. Fourth one is about data transformation. It is also one optional one. So some people, they would like to represent their two-dimensional to three-dimensional representation of data or splitting the data. So when you want to consult the data into some appropriate transformation, you can do this. Then fifth one, it's about data mining. So now here we have many methodologies, as I told earlier, like classification, clustering, association, role mining. So all this essential process where intelligent methods are applied to extract the data patterns. Then the sixth step, it's about pattern evaluation. Now we have to identify the truly interesting pattern which we mined from the data mining. Then finally we have the knowledge representation. From the mined knowledge is represented to the user with whisper visualization and representation for the quick understanding and better visualization. So this is what exactly a knowledge discovery process. So when I say data mining, it's not about only the methods or the techniques which we have. It's also about what are the pre steps which are going to apply and the post steps of data mining. So all this data cleaning, integration, selection, transformation, those and all come the pre steps of data mining, and pattern evaluation and presentation comes as the post step of data mining. So, in this intro slide, I think each and every one of you would have understood why we have to go for the data mining and what are the basic steps we have and what are the processes we have. So, in the next video, I'll be explaining where and all we apply the data mining, and we will start with the simple algorithms and methods of data mining. So, thank you all.